the chicken around her neck, and then she wears the chicken for a while. Of course, you don't want your dog sleeping in your bed. After that, you'll have to do without for a few days, but that works. I used to live in Kyle. I was a school teacher in Kyle 40 years ago, more than 40 years ago, back when schools were kind of pleasant places to be. And Kyle was really big into raising championship white leghorn chickens. They'd go to the fairs and all that. I mean, everybody around us had these white leghorn chickens. And we had a German Shepherd dog. And one day our dog came home with chicken. Well, we were horrified, but we had no idea whose it was. And we didn't want to alert the neighborhood that it was us. And so we just hung that chicken around her neck for a few days, and she never brought another one home. Anytime she saw a chicken, she backed up. And that works. It's kind of horrifying, but it works. That's how difficult it is, though. If your dog is a chicken killer, you know, and then back in the country, if you had a dog that was an egg sucker, that dog was gone. You know, but so that's the way it is. It's a bad situation. Cats won't bother chickens unless they're chicks. Chicks, yes, they'll eat. But the chickens, every cat I've ever seen backs away from those chickens. They're so bizarre. You have other, of course, wild predators to worry about besides dogs. And, of course, not just your dog. It'll be the neighbor's dog. We've had horrible massacres here. Right in 2002, in March, the day that will live in infamy, right before market, I just glanced out the door and I saw shapes all over the ground. I thought, that's odd. They weren't moving. That's really odd. So I came out and instantly I saw there was a big dog in there and another one out. And so I hollered at Larry, and he brought out the 22 and everything, and they were killing everybody. I had 100 chickens at that time, and they killed 50, and they were going to kill them all. And what had happened is that one of my young chickens was sleeping in the perch, those perch areas back there, under the perch, out on the wire. And the big dog, it was a pit bull mastiff. It's huge. He came up and he grabbed her by the leg through that wire and pulled her leg off. And that was so exciting. You can imagine. That was so exciting that the dog then grabbed the wire fence, and that's that kind of stuff there, and jerked it off the poles. All the staples just flew off and went in. And then just started picking them off the perches, because they were still all in bed. Just started picking them off. And then as the light started coming, the chickens figured out what was going on, and so they started going down and trying to go out that hole. This is before I came out there. Well, the dog outside was waiting for her. So then there were more killings. And then one thing that I learned, you know, you always hear the chicken can die of fright. In that corner where Rusty's standing right there, all my young pullets, there were about 12 of them, they all ran to that corner and they lay down together. It was so beautiful. It was like a paisley quilt, and they were all dead, and not a mark on them, not one sign of stress or struggle. They just all died. And I don't know what causes that in a chicken's brain and heart, but it was really a horrible thing. So that morning, here at the farm stand starting, and the cashier, my cousin Claire, wouldn't let anybody come over here, but they could tell there's something bad. I mean, it's like a horrible thing descended, a fog or something. So we laid all the chickens out right here, and the dogs had run off. And then one of the hens that was a survival, it's like it's, you know, March, it's spring, it's time to lay eggs. She got right on top of all those chickens and laid an egg. I mean, there's always humor, you know, these macabre events. So she laid an egg right on top of them. Larry dug a grave with the tractor, and we buried all those chickens. And one chicken was way back at the back of the field and didn't come back for 3 days, but suddenly she just walked up all shell-shocked, but she'd made it out. So you will have this problem with dogs, and around here through the years we've seen that people just let their dogs out at night to run, because in the daytime they're all chained up to guard the empire. But at night they want them to get exercise and go have some fun, so they're all out. So this can be a bad problem, and that can happen in your neighborhood where dogs ranging through the neighborhood will just come in. So you have to have a really strong hen house, but that didn't save us. At that time our hen house was a lot nicer than it is now. Now it's real ramshackle. We would have raccoon tragedies where male raccoons will come in and do just like a dog. They'll kill them all. And we've had possums. Generally a possum will either eat the chicken right there or carry it back to the nest. A female raccoon will get the chicken and carry it to the nest because there's babies waiting. Skunks will kill them all. And so there's all kinds of horribles. Of course, we don't have any foxes here, and so we don't have to deal with that. We don't have coyotes, thank goodness, so we don't have to deal with that. But everything is after a chicken, even people, you know. they're too succulent. So what we found a few years ago, I did a chicken seminar, and I was so excited. I'd just gotten this new prevention deal against predators. I just paid $30 a piece for these little black boxes that are solar operated. There's one right there on the post, has a little red rectangle on it. I've got them facing in every direction. And what that is solar powered, and at night there's a little red blinking light, and it just blinks like that. And you put it down at the predator's level, and generally this will be at the raccoon level. And what happens is it reverberates off their retinas up to a quarter a mile away. And it should work with coyotes or anything. But of course I don't have coyotes, so I don't know. But that tells them that there is a predator already in the hen house, and so they don't go there. Now it won't keep dogs in the daylight or anything in the daylight from getting chickens, but it will save the hen house in the night. And it's really difficult to proof a hen house to where nothing can get in. It's really difficult. If you are trying, then you should get this hardwood cloth instead of chicken wire. Chicken wire will rust out, and I've had raccoons go right through chicken wire. So get the hardwood cloth if you're really serious about this, and bury it underground. Some people will have it come down and then curve out to the outside. So there's something that's trying to dig in. It'll just be digging into wire, and it'll quit. Some people flash their bottom of their hen house, or the same way with tin flashing, and that's helpful. But I found that the main problem is your gate, and the main problem with your gate is that you left it open. That's the main problem. It's always generally operator error. So you gotta have the alarm set every night to lock them up. But I have, in the 4 years that I've had these night lights, these night guards, I used to have 2 break-ins a year at least. 2 horrible break-ins. You know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, you're dead asleep. But of course a woman is never dead asleep. A woman's listening for a baby's cry or something always. Now I know some of you men will do this too, have good ears, but a woman especially is alert to this, because I know, because Larry'd sleep right through the murders. But I would hear a chicken talking out here. A chicken doesn't talk at night unless something's in there. That's a golden rule. And if you hear a chicken muttering, you got to get up, get dressed, unless you live in a place like this. Get dressed, you get the 22, you get the shovel, you get the whatever it is you're going to need. You're going to need a weapon. A 2x4, whatever, you're going to need it. And you come out, and you're probably going to find out you left the door open. Hopefully you won't. Maybe they got in somehow, but there'll be something, and there'll be a raccoon sitting right up on the perch with them. And they'll just kind of nudge them. It's really weird. They'll nudge them along. And the chicken, that's when the chicken starts talking, because that raccoon is kind of nudging her. He's getting ready to get his fangs right on the back of her neck and throw her to the ground and break her in her neck. And that nudging causes her to talk. So, I was here first. She thinks it's another chicken, you know, or something. Because chickens don't see well in the dark. That's the deal, but raccoons do. So that's what happens, and you come right out, and then you got the battle. Now, I've been through probably 50 battles since 1982. I mean, it'll get your adrenaline pumping. Let me tell you. I beat a possum to death one. I hate to tell you this, because I'll probably be arrested. You know, like they're getting all those people for building permits in South Austin. You know, hundreds of people are going to be thrown in jail now because 40 years ago a garage was enclosed. So I'll be put in jail for beating a possum to death. The PETAs will be on me or something. But I did. This is when I lived in a tiny yard, or I had a tiny yard that was about as big. My backyard was no bigger than that hen house. And of course I had chickens. I had 12 hens in about a 10 by 10 chicken house. And I heard them talking. And Larry's at the other farm. So I go out in the middle of the night, scantily dressed, I must add, just to make the whole picture better. And I saw a possum was in there, and it had already killed one chicken, and it was going after another one. And I picked up a shovel and I beat that sucker to death. I mean, in a rage. When you're when children or chickens, something gets them,